This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth, and Venezuela is collapsing, as you can see by these images, following what many are calling a stolen election. In Venezuela, as we see here, Venezuela in flames, riots erupt over stolen election as protesters clash with police following President Maduro's victory declaration after overseeing years of food shortages and a collapsed economy. They're already tearing down statues of Hugo Chavez. He was, of course, the leader of Venezuela from 1999 up until his death in 2013. He was the socialist leader, and they are seen here dragging his decapitated statue's head around in the streets. And, you know, they're obviously upset for good reason. Here's the same shop owner before and after Maduro's socialism in Venezuela. This is where socialism gets you. Because as a reminder, take a look at this. Venezuela used to be twice as wealthy as Chile, for example. Then Chile followed Milton Friedman's ideas, while Venezuela was ruled by socialists. Now, Chile is the wealthiest large country in South America, and Venezuela is the poorest. This is the difference between capitalism and socialism. And now we see criticism is mounting against Venezuela's Maduro and the Electoral Council that has declared him a victor. At least 7 people are reported dead now, as Maduro has met Venezuelan protests with force, but in an incredible show of solidarity. Regional police officers are seen here in tears, removing their uniforms and bulletproof vests, refusing to fight against their own people. They join the protesters, calling for the fall of the tyrant Maduro. Now, as you can tell by the title of this video, I believe this should serve as a stark warning about what may soon be coming with the United States U.S. presidential selection process, because if Kamala Harris, who is an unelected leader, is selected as the next president of the United States, civil unrest will follow. And again, that is their modus operandi. So we're going to talk about this and much, much more in this video, guys. But really quickly, just before we do, I'd ask that you check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. If you appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, here you can do a one-time donation with PayPal. You can do Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. You could sign up for a monthly reoccurring contribution. You can do that there or by clicking here on Subscribestar. You can also send an e-transfer to Dan at pressfortruth.ca, or if you like to keep things old school, guys, you can send stuff to my P.O. box. Links for all of this are located in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone who takes 1 minute today to contribute to my efforts here at Press for Truth. All right, guys, check this out. Venezuela has been engulfed by violent riots as opposition candidate Gonzalez has announced that he has proof that he won Sunday's disputed election hours after President Maduro claimed that he had secured a third term in power. As we see here from the Zero Hedge article, in his latest press conference, opposition candidate Gonzalez claimed that he has proof that the election was stolen. He says, "I speak to you with the calmness of the truth," Gonzalez told dozens of supporters. "We have in our hands the tally sheets that demonstrate our categorical and mathematically irreversible victory." Folks, does any of this sound familiar to what happened with the Biden-Trump selection process, 4 years ago, as is presented by this graph? I think most people remember that it seemed insane that Biden got 80 million or more votes in the U.S., and it seems that the Venezuelans, the powers that ought not be here, have taken a page out of the Biden regime and essentially repeated this process there in Venezuela, and the people are having none of it. Now, just think of what would happen in the U.S. should something similar happen in, less than 90 days, 95 days from now? Something like that. Should this unelected DNC chosen Kamala Harris beat out Donald Trump, there would absolutely be mayhem. in the United States. And I wouldn't put it past the powers that ought not be to do such a thing. And check this out. Leave it to the Simpsons to once again be, predicting what's to come. This is from an episode that aired back in the year 2000, where it's depicting a future where Lisa Simpson is the president. And she inherits the presidency after Donald Trump. Listen to this.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten? We're broke. The country is broke.
Now, and interestingly enough, she becomes president following Trump. And as you see here in the 2020 vice presidential inaugurational ceremony, Kamala Harris was wearing the same outfit that Lisa Simpson was wearing in this 24-year-old Simpsons episode. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that, this is definitive proof that Harris is going to become the selected next president of the United States, but it is interesting to consider. When you look at the playbook that is happening right now in Venezuela, as it appears that this is, purposefully conducted by the powers that ought not be in order to achieve their modus operandi of gaining order out of chaos. That is the name of the game. And should the selection process in the U.S. decide that they want to announce Kamala Harris as the chosen, president by the people, I think the American people are going to blatantly see through it. So the powers that ought not be are in a unique position right now where either way, both sides of this, bird, two wings of the same bird, either coin, other side of the coin is chosen here, doesn't really matter for them. Civil unrest will essentially be the outcome. So it's not looking good for the American people in the near future, guys. And I want to point you today because, I'm often talking about, just how democracy is a failed system. Well, this obviously begs the question of what do you replace democracy with, right? Like what's the alternative if democracy is obviously mob rule being controlled by some puppet string pullers who are controlling both sides, creating the illusion of choice? Well, I made a documentary called The Democracy Deception like almost 10 years ago now, but I followed that up 4 or 5 years ago with the Democracy Deception Part 2, What's the Alternative? And I'd like to leave you with that one today. You can check the link in the description if you want to check it out. Democracy is the deception that we are somehow progressing just because we vote, when really democracy is just another form of communism. And like any communist state, the erosion begins with the family. In this video, Dan Dicks of Press for Truth goes over the various pros and cons of what may someday replace democracy, but more importantly, how traditional morals, standards, and values need to make a strong comeback before we could ever achieve any kind of a libertarian or anarchist utopia. So if you want to see my views on what could potentially replace democracy in the future, be sure to check out my video, The Democracy Deception Part 2, What's the Alternative? Also, don't forget to check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this information. So just wanted to share that with you today, guys. What we're seeing in Venezuela right now should probably serve as a warning of what may soon be coming to the United States, which is indeed very much so a selection process rather than an election. So just wanted to bring all that to your attention, guys. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, don't forget to check me out at pressfortruth.ca/donate. You can check that top link in the description below. And that's all for today. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button and share this video. And stay tuned for more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.